Hello, welcome. Hello. Hi! My name is Rachel Alavi. You are here tonight, today, whatever time it is on Chicago Reacts, because you love watching us react to videos, because they're kind of silly and this one looks silly already. And that's what gets my goat. Actually, you know what? I think gets your goat is like, that makes me mad. But it looks like a man sitting in a chair enjoying a glass of brandy. No, that's not a brandy. The whiskey. That's a whiskey cup. And it looks like his head is a tater tot. So I'm actually pretty interested. I suppose I should tell you what I will be reacting to instead of just having you guess to what the opening has just the head of a tater tot. Let's see. How Doom Eternal forces you into the what? Into the fun zone by DJ Peach Cobbler. Let me read that one more time. How Doom Eternal forces you into the fun zone by DJ Peach Cobbler. There we go. It's not a tater tot, it's a Peach Cobbler. Thank you for helping me come to that conclusion. All I needed to do was read, which is a skill that I do have. I've been reading for that many years. If you're new here, old here, short or tall here, please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. And if you're really with it, you can leave me a comment. That's cool too. I could just sing to you, but I won't, because I think that you guys want to watch the video. And so DJ Peach Cobbler, please take it away.
Okay, so this is gonna be a shameless handjob of a video, because Doom Eternal deserves it. Sure, this video is gonna make me look like a corporate shill, but you know what? That's because I am. Bethesda didn't write me a check exactly, but they did give me a free copy of Skyrim for the PlayStation 5. I'm just gonna throw all objectivity out the window. Does this game have flaws? Of course, but honestly, I don't give a shit.
How embarrassing for you.
I know.
Oh.
This isn't just more Doom 2016, it's longer, yeah, but it's a refinement.
Okay, I'm sorry. He said longer. Are there an end to video games? Like, is there like an end point? The only video game I've ever played was Prince of Persia on Xbox. I played this in probably 2012. I just got bored of it eventually because I was like, what? Actually, I think I just, I don't know. I don't recall stopping playing that game. But sometimes I just started over because I knew how to do the beginning, like the first chapter. I guess chapters come to an end. So, like you can't complete Sims, and that's the other video game that I have experience with. So, I mean, I'm sure this guy will explain. This is only 34 seconds into the video. Thank you so much.
It's smarter. When you watch developer interviews of id around the release of Doom 2016, which I'm henceforth going to refer to as Doom 4 because I'm getting pretty fucking sick of calling it 2016 just because id neglected to give it a decent fucking title, they often refer to the combat as push-forward combat.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Id lied to us. Doom 4 had runaround combat, backtrack combat. Sure, the game encouraged you to stay close to the enemy so that you could crack open their skulls and slurp up that sweet, sweet health, but you were being pursued. You were not pursuing. Run around, blast the super shotgun, stagger enemy, glory kill, repeat. It was great, but it was mindless. It was a mindless shooter.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
Some of my favorite games are mindless shooters.
Was
but
that the nose job
what's so impressive
episode?
to me about Doom Eternal is that it looks like a mindless shooter. But it's a mindful shooter. I mean, some shooters are more shameless about it, but really, they're just about all mind.
I believe that was yoga with Cassandra in cow face pose, which sounds really nice right now. I went to the gym yesterday. I go to the gym sometimes, like 4 times a month, once a week. Yeah. So I mean, be nice to do some yoga. I say that as if I don't actually practice yoga. I do. Thank you. But I don't really go to the gym. But I did go yesterday. So if you're checking out these sweet guns through my oversized men's shirt, yeah, I did work on biceps yesterday. Thank you for noticing. Health is life. Gym is life.
Endless. You can add in complex dialogue or set pieces or even great stories, but at the end of the day, the gameplay is just click on the bad guys. But in Doom Eternal, every enemy is a decision. Just shoot them the way God intended, glory kill them for health, set them on fire for armor, freeze them then set them on fire so that you can get even more armor, target their weapons to cripple their offense, get them all in one area and frag them, use a super weapon on a super heavy demon before they feed you your own bones, hit them with the old chainsaw for that shotgun ammo because every weapon other than the super shotgun is for cowards, shoot. Glory kill, fire, freeze, frag, target, super weapons. Every offensive ability you have in this game makes sense and has a specific function in the core combat loop.
Okay.
It is fucking masterful design. Except for Blood Punch. I have no idea why that's here. What do you expect from a video game sequel? Bigger and better. The thing is, as I say in my Tinder bio, bigger is overrated. As games' budgets have become progressively more ridiculous over the years, a problem has emerged. Now, I haven't mentioned this in my videos for a few reasons, but I'm actually an airman in the US Air Force. If you write "thank you for your service" or some shit like that in the comments, I will drone strike your house. I don't do shit. I don't want to get into the specifics, but with my job, the only danger to my life is my ever-expanding waistline.
Rank is not a reward, it's a challenge.
Anyway, recently my unit was given over $1 million and was told to spend it within a week. That's good, right? Wrong. It was a lot of fucking money with very little time to spend it. Sure, money in your bank account is great, but money in an organization creates an obligation.
It's like that episode of American Dad called G-String Circus, where the CIA has to spend like a bunch of money in like one day, so they go to a strip club. And then Stan adopts a stripper. And she's voiced by, I think her name is Kat Dennings. She has the Thieves. She was in Two Broke Girls.
You can't just have it, you gotta turn it into something useful. AAA publishers seem to have run into a similar issue as they've gotten way too good at ripping people off. What the fuck are you gonna make with all that money that you stole from children? Sure, you can do some blow, plow some ladyboys, and call it a lunch meeting, as is corporate tradition, but there's still gonna be a lot left over. You've been given a Scrooge McDuck vault filled with blood-stained money and been told to make a video game with it. Since you have enough money to end world hunger and buy everyone a $5 blowjob while you're at it, it feels like it would be a waste to make a game about just one thing. But the games that sell best are games that are just about murdering hordes of enemies, so...
I'm sorry. I know we were just like one quick aside. There's this place on Western Avenue near Wicker Park, and it's called Men's Spa. And it's written in like almost monster font in like bright green, and then there's like the man arrow symbol. And like it's gotta be like a happy ending situation. And like every time I walk by, I like try to see what's on the desk because nobody's ever sitting up in the front. And the other day I walked by and it said, "This is a non-sexual place, and the masseuses have they are able to say no at any point during the service." And then the next day I walked by and I saw a chick and I inside as a masseuse, and I'm like, this is definitely that type of place. So if you're interested, check out Men's Spa, sponsored by Men's Spa. This is not sponsored by Men's Spa. They will not allow me inside. I haven't tried though, but they won't. Thank you.
So what do? You make your game just about killing bad guys, but you give the player a million ways in which to do that. Killing the bad guys is not a complicated problem. Bullet plus head equals good, clean fun. This is a good formula, although my therapist disagrees. I assume some people must like this play the game your way design, but I find it to be messy. If you give the player a million ways to do something, then you can't really ensure that each of the ways is actually fun. It's like having a nail in a board. The game tells you to hammer in the nail, which is a simple problem, but then the game gives you a dozen hammers of varying quality. Each of them does the same thing in the end, so why didn't they just give you a single good hammer? I think Far Cry stands as a good example of this bloated design. In Far Cry 3, you got a bunch of bastards that you need to turn into dead bastards. Simple enough. You have two options: shoot them or sneak around and stab them. Both are fine, and more importantly, both are fun. Now, just a few games later in Far Cry 5, you can shoot them, you can sneak around and stab them, you can get an attack helicopter, you can get an attack plane, you can use your follower to kill them, you can throw bait and get a predator to kill them. How many of these things are fun? Your mileage may vary, but I find the attack helicopter and plane to control like shit, and using your follower or your furry friends to kill them is fucking boring, because why would I play a Far Cry game to watch someone else do all the murders? That's not fun. If I want to watch someone die, I'll go to live leaks. And if I want to commit consequence-free murder, I'll sand off my fingerprints and remove the teeth from my victims so they can't be identified. I play
Sir,
Far Cry,
please!
so I know what you're thinking. So what? You can still shoot the enemies or do takedowns just
Wait,
like
what
in Far
game
Cry
are we even
3.
talking
You
about
can
now?
ignore the other options and play the game the way that you want. This makes sense
Eternal-
on the surface. However,
Doom
you're also
Eternal.
wrong and
This
stupid
is Far
because
Cry.
this is my YouTube video and I'm pushing a narrative.
This is
so
my
you can shut
YouTube
up.
video.
The real problem is that if you hadn't already played Far Cry 3 and therefore
I haven't.
already knew how to have fun with the game like I had, you may play with the vehicles or just use the NPCs to kill the enemies like some sort of pussy that doesn't enjoy indulging in constant simulated violence. Putting in ways to play your game that aren't fun purely because your budget is sickeningly huge and you gotta spend it
Oh.
on something
It's talking about the
buries
military
what was
giving them-
originally a
okay,
fun
I got you.
combat
Gotcha,
system
gotcha,
under
gotcha.
layers of boring
I think.
filler.
We are here to do a job, not channel Scrooge McDuck.
Another issue with Far Cry's sandbox-style approach is that the game
Wait.
will punish you for playing these ways. If I got in a helicopter and taped down the left mouse button and the W key on my keyboard, then left the game running for a few hours, the game would probably beat itself. These ways to play the game that aren't fun are also incredibly easy. Therefore, the game actually incentivizes you to play in a way that's about as fun as trying to break a car window with your flaccid dick. But where most bloated, modern games give you a nail, a board, and a dozen hammers, Doom Eternal gives you a toolbox
There we
and tells
go,
you to
he's
build a
bringing it.
gazebo. Doom Eternal is a big game with a lot of ways to dispatch your enemies. Having a lot of tools at your disposal works in Doom Eternal because the game's combat system is demanding enough to make you use them, and they each have a different purpose. You've got a bunch of abilities and enemies and weapons, and yet they each have their place. This is a game that doesn't suffer from its scale.
It's the
Far
Eye
Cry
of
5 has a few
Sauron.
types of enemies, all of which have one specific weakness that only pro gamers like me know about:
Me too.
bullets.
Yeah,
But in
yeah.
Doom Eternal, there are 21 fucking enemy types, not including bosses. Sure, you can try to play the game your way and kill them all with one gun,
That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
but it's not gonna go well for you. If you need to saw a board in half for that gazebo you're building, you're not gonna use a hammer. You can't target weak points with a super shotgun, or effectively farm armor with the ballista, or quickly break shields with any of the non-plasma guns, or... Listen, you get the fucking idea.
I
Use the
do.
right tool for the job. And what impresses me even more than the intelligent and varied enemy design is the fact that every weapon you do have maintains its usefulness throughout the entirety of the game.
Oh,
The second
okay.
weapon you're given in Doom Eternal is the heavy cannon, which is fine. It's a machine gun. It does its job. But later, you're given the minigun, which uses the same ammo, does more damage, and is fucking sick because it's a minigun. So the heavy cannon is now useless, right? It just takes up a spot in your inventory for no reason, right?
You fool! You absolute buffoon!
I'm still whipping out the heavy cannon all the way into the final level. Why? Because of the weapon mod that allows you to zoom in and target weak points, which is key to success at higher difficulties.
Oh, okay.
I could also use the ballista for that purpose, but it's a bit too slow and I often miss because I suck. But what about the very first weapon you're given in Doom Eternal? The combat shotgun. Surely you're not using that late game. I mean, you get the super shotgun just a few levels in. It's got a grappling hook and double the barrels for double the fun.
Sweet.
The starting shotgun should be gathering dust in the Slayer's man cave by the time you're fighting the Icon of Sin. But nope. Once again, the shotgun has a weapon.
Have you guys seen that Doctor Who episode where he like goes onto this planet and it's like imploding or something, and then Satan comes out of like a hole in it? Because it looks like that guy. I wonder where they got the idea. It was definitely Doctor Who and not the Bible. I don't know how Satan looks in the Bible. Well, I like Doctor Who.
mod that can do one thing that the super shotgun can't. This is the way to kill this one specific demon. The second you see a Cockademon, you're whipping out that shotgun and grinning ear to ear, because not only is the animation funny, it's a guaranteed glory kill, is very satisfying, and ruthlessly fast.
Ooh.
You know the starting pistol in Doom 2016? Did you use that after getting the shotgun literally like 5 minutes later? No, you didn't. Because it has all the stopping power of a super soaker and sounds about as satisfying as a ruined orgasm. Well, I guess the guy that did an Ultra Nightmare run with just the pistol kept using it. I seriously can't decide if this guy is a genius, an idiot, or just a fucking masochist. At the end of the day, the starting pistol in Doom 2016 just wasn't fun. So why was it there? Because you're supposed to start with a pistol and a shooter, I guess? I mean, it has infinite ammo, so it's not like id just threw it in there for no reason. You needed something to fall back on because you can run out of ammo pretty easily in the first few levels. But why have a weak gun with infinite ammo when you could have an infinite chainsaw that turns enemies into ammo piñatas?
What?
With most huge games, things slip through the cracks. Things are there just to be there. But Doom Eternal feels so intentional. You know how the Terrace Nabad level is where the Archville demon first appears?
Yeah,
a
I know
super heavy
that.
demon that needs to be killed as soon as possible because the longer it's alive, the more buffed demons it spawns. He basically causes you to whip out the BFG every time he shows up and makes you think, damn, I wish
BFG
there
is
was a way
big
for me to
fucking
single him out and
guns.
insta-kill him before he spawns in SEAL Team 666 to stomp my ass. Then, boom. End of the level, the Crucible. A super weapon that insta-kills any demon that isn't a boss. Honestly, for me, the Crucible is just an Archville killer. The game establishes that the Archville is not to be fucked with, needs a super weapon to be dealt with effectively, then presents the Rock to his scissors in the hyper-violent rock-paper-scissors match that is Eternal's combat system. The game presented you with a problem. That problem being, you still need to slap a roof on the gazebo, because otherwise it's just a goddamn octagonal patio.
That's
the game
true.
waited for you to stack up some boxes so you could get up there on your own and think like some idiot in an infomercial, there must be a better way. Then, it gives you a ladder. Even the goddamn bullet fodder enemies, which exist in every game just to pad out the runtime, have a distinct function in Eternal's combat loop. They're just walking health, ammo, and armor containers. If you remove the easy enemies from most games, there wouldn't be much of a game left. You'd be able to beat Pokemon in like 3 minutes if you removed the easy random encounters. But if you removed the easy enemies from Doom, you wouldn't be able to beat the game at all. Trying to play this game without all these angry health packs walking around would be more difficult than getting laid in a battered woman's shelter. A big problem I have with game critics, other than their general corporate whorishness, is that they talk about annoying aspects of games without considering why they're there. If something is a little irritating, but it pushes you into playing the game in a much more fun way, it's a good inclusion. Running out of ammo all the time is irritating. Your melee doing no damage is irritating. Enemies curb stomping you if you try to spam your preferred weapon is irritating. These are things that make you have a little angry video game nerd moment. What were they thinking? When I first played Eternal, I resented these things. Especially the fact that the game didn't let me just run around with a super shotgun like Doom 4 did. Why couldn't I do that? Why couldn't I play the game the way that I wanted? Because the way I wanted wasn't really that fun.
It's time to let old things die.
Please don't go this way.
No, you're still holding on! Let go!
No Clip is a YouTube channel that everyone that has even a passing interest in game design should watch because you get a very unfiltered, first-hand perspective on the process. Often in interviews, a developer's just plugging their game. They talk about what's going to be in it, or they lie about what's going to be in it. But Hugo Martin in this interview is very forthcoming with where he thought id failed in Doom 4. They saw what I thought was the way to play the game as boring and repetitive, and it sorta is. I enjoyed Doom 4, but the last few missions always felt like a slog, because I was just doing the same thing over and over and over. The game allowed me to play in a way that was fun, sure, but it wasn't that fun, particularly when there's nothing there to break it up. My first 10 hours with Doom Eternal were frustrating, because I was trying to keep blasting enemies with a super shotgun, not using every tool at my disposal, and running out of ammo all the time for the one gun that I did use. I was being stubborn, and not adapting to the new combat in Eternal, so the game would kill me.
Fuck you! Fuck!
Fuck you!
It wasn't until I let old things die that
I
I
was
started
not
to have
picturing
way
that
more
face
fun than
with
I
that
ever
voice.
had with Doom 4. I could have had as much fun with Doom 4 as I've had with Eternal. The tools were all there, except for the dash and meat hook. Granted, those two things are fucking amazing, but when I recommend Doom Eternal to someone, those two things aren't the reason why. The reason I love Doom Eternal isn't the dash, it isn't the meat hook, it isn't the fact that you blow a hole into the surface of Mars. It isn't because the Slayer and the UAC hologram lady are thick as hell.
Damn.
girl.
These things are great, obviously, but they're skin deep. The reason I put an embarrassing amount of time into this game is because it literally doesn't allow me to not have fun. I know I got some Far Cry fans in my massive fan base who may have had a bunch of fun with Far Cry 5. Maybe they resent the fact that I spent 4 minutes grinding its face into the dirt and saying that the gameplay was a mess. That's because Far Cry 5 has so many ways to play it, and it may just be that the way that I chose to play it was boring.
It's interesting, it happens with a lot of games where like, you and I don't seem to have the same experience with a game. You're like, what the hell? So, when I looked at some of the footage, or like even that Polygon footage where it's like Polygon can't do. Yeah. The thing is, like, that's just a player playing the game. Like, if that footage doesn't look great, whose fault is that? Is that their fault or our fault? Like, how come that person was able to succeed playing that way? Like with one gun, missing 80% of the time, and the game should have killed that person, you know, to corral them into playing it the fun way, the right way. What we kind of noticed was that if you were a skilled FPS player and you picked up Doom 2016, you naturally fell into what we call at the studio like the fun zone, where you're weapon switching and moving and glory killing and managing resources. You're doing all these good things and it feels good. Yeah. If you're not that good at FPS, there were too many unplanned for exploits.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
This man, this beautiful man, and every other talented and hardworking member of id Software, because games are a collaborative art and I should really stop jerking off just one guy when everyone there deserves a few good tugs, didn't give me what I wanted. They had the balls to tell me that I'm an idiot, and I don't know what I want. They didn't give me a bunch of okay ways to play the game because they were afraid to dictate to the player the proper way to play. Most games give you a million ways to just kill enemies, but Doom Eternal feels more like a city simulator or a strategy game than a shooter. Because you aren't just clicking on the enemies, you're managing a myriad of resources at once and trying to find the right balance to succeed. The game gives you a million ways to manage your health, ammo, armor, and enemies. Why? Because doing this in a game is way more fun than it sounds. I mean, what is a game? A miserable little pile of decisions. I often feel that big games forget this. Games are, at least to me, at their best when they're having you make difficult decisions. Most games ask the question, how are you going to kill all these guys? This isn't inherently an uninteresting question, but when there's 80 different answers and they all work, then the question becomes meaningless.
Yeah.
Having to constantly make
Okay, so that's like a thing we learned about. I'm an econ major. Graduated, but bachelor's in economics. Anyway, that was something that we looked at in class in a book that I read because I had to for the final. It basically said that the more decisions you give people, the more help you need to give them in choosing the right decision. And that appears to be what the situation is in this. That's all I have on that. I'm actively trying to reread that book because it was very interesting. But I can read. I can. Just not the most tenacious reader. So I set a goal for myself to read 15 minutes a day for a week, and that was like 3 weeks ago, and I will say that I've been reading like at least every other day for more than 15 minutes, so I'm pretty proud of myself. If you set any goals that are not New Year's resolutions, but like a goal that you can accomplish, let me know. I do like to know about these things. That's cool to me. That's like working on yourself, that doesn't get my goat. It leaves my goat alone. My happy goat. That makes my goat happy.
decisions is engaging. I make more decisions per minute in Doom Eternal than in any other game. And these decisions matter because if I make the wrong one, I don't just not have fun. If I use the wrong tool for the job, the game will kill me. It will not allow me to do something not fun in the name of player freedom. I'll die, I'll get frustrated, but I'll learn. I will get back up, I will try again, and I will succeed because that's what a game is. You may like sandboxes, you may just want a playground, but me, I want games. I want complex and thrilling systems designed by people with confidence.
Super Shotgun was kind of the solution to everything, you know? I'd be lying if I said that was part of the plan. Now, it's fun to weapon switch and use different weapons and do all these things, so good players didn't really play that way.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
The game is fun. The game is a battle. If it's not fun, why bother?
Who
if it's
is
not a
this
battle,
guy?
Where's the fun? It's a
What?
test that you pass or a quest that you fail. Fun and battle always locked together. But the game is also something else. It's a journey, a passport to new worlds, a look, a feel, an exploration. But in the end, it's not just where you can take your game.
Oh no.
It's where your game can take you.
Where does Doom Eternal take you? It takes you to the fun zone, and it doesn't let you out.
Okay, that was pretty sick. I really enjoyed how he dumbed it down for people who don't know about video games at all. Just because it's right on my mind. That guy at the end for Nintendo who opened with "the game is fun," eyebrows. The game is also a battle. He... Who does that? That was really hard to watch. That was like a super cringy moment. It was like, when you serve somebody a plate of food and you know that like this was not your best attempt at cooking, and you hand it to them and you say, "It's good. It's food." That's what he was giving me. That game sounded pretty interesting. I like that he said it was more of a strategy game, because shooters to me are like, you just kill everybody, but the idea that like, oh no, you need to like think about this problem and here are the tools and go through this and learn about it and then try again, because otherwise you're not going to move on. That keeps my goat happy. I went to not a video game cafe. I went to a board game cafe. It was a board game bar this weekend, and picked out a strategy game and absolutely creamed my competition because I have a math brain. And also, like, you can see the other person's board and you need to make decisions based on, like, what your board looks like and also what their board looks like. And the person who I was playing with was just thinking about their board, and I'm like, bro, like, I'm gonna beat you. I beat him, like, by, like, 40 points. It was fun. I had a great time. So, I would recommend this game. As a person who doesn't play video games, I would recommend this game. It looks like fun. And I would also recommend going to a board game cafe / bar where you can drink beer while you do it, and it just gets increasingly more fun. The people behind us are playing some game like Architect, and they were deep into it, and it seemed like a hostile situation. If I knew more people, I would play a game like that. It looked like Settlers of Catan, which is another game I've never played. If this was a channel for reacting to games that you had never played, I would engage in I don't want to say 40-hour, because that's a full work week, but maybe like a 5-hour game of Catan on camera, if this was a board game reaction place. I don't think that sounds like fun to the audience. It's just like uncut 5 hours of somebody playing a board game. Well, I guess that's kind of what Twitch is, right? Maybe if I get on the Twitch channel, also you can follow our Twitch channel. If I go on the Twitch channel, I'll just play Solitaire for 2 hours on Thursday evenings. That'd be a great time. Hope everybody would like it. Well, that was enjoyable. Okay, I hope you were enjoyable by my reaction to me and enjoying your enjoyables. Sentence structure. If you want words, data languager. That's what that guy on Rick and Morty said. Which is correct. That's that on that, I believe. If you don't subscribe to the channel, what are you doing? That's silly. The button's somewhere around here, I believe. I'm not a YouTuber, but I myself subscribe to the channel. So that's pretty cool. And then I had to unsubscribe from the emails because always unsubscribe from the emails. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. You can leave me a comment. Tell me your goals, as long as they're SMART goals. And if you don't know what a SMART goal is, please look it up and then set one for yourself because it's very satisfying to accomplish them. I didn't accomplish one of my other goals, but that's okay because, you know, you're building habit. This is tea. But if you haven't had water recently, today, if you got neon yellow pea, drink some water. And maybe have a snack too. I don't know. Yeah, I would have a snack. Yeah, I think I'll have popcorn when I get home. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. You can follow me. I'm Rachel Ablavi. You can follow me on Instagram at that name. It is in the description below. And, go, make your goat. No, that's not it. Something about goats. Oh, if you haven't tried birria, it's goat meat and it's really good. It's like really thick tacos. So if you haven't done that, go try that and let me know if that's your snack. Thank you. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Peace out.